Okay, it's going to be a little show and tell about the lathe. I'm not going to cut any parts like I did last time, but I'm going to go through a few things about tools and some other things that go with it. And let's say that I had this long piece of, in this case, aluminum, and I needed to machine some sort of fancy thing out here so that it would rest. Well, that's going to be hard to fit in there, right? Not necessarily. Watch this bit of magic. You can see that you can put something through the hollow part. All of mills have, or lathes have, an opening all the way through so that you can do long pieces like that. Now, generally in a manual sitting, you're going to have a tool rack that's going to have all the stuff you need. And this whole thing about sanitation, it's nothing new to us. We've been doing this for years. That sign's been there for at least 10 years. But you're going to have up here chuck keys for adjusting the chuck on the three-jaw chuck. Spare cutting bits or a tray for that. Files, sometimes the other types of cutters would go into that. You're going to have a place to store your live center and your dead center and the chuck when you aren't using, or the drill chuck when you're not using it. Usually there's a little place to keep some sandpaper. And those are the kind of things, this little tool is actually meant, you actually use it, it's called a drift. And I'm not sure where it's needed on this machine, but you go in and you drive it in and causes whatever might be stuck somewhere to be raised up because of the angle on it. So those are some of the parts that are going to go on a tool rack of a lathe. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to look at this one is because it's using a different type of tool holder. It has I forgot the exact name of this particular kind, but you lock your piece in here. This has an insert. This is not hand. This one is an insert. And when this cutting point gets dulled, you can turn it around. It's got 3 cutting points, and when they're all dull, you throw it away and you get a new one. Drops in and locks in place. And you have different cutting heads. This is why it's pretty well a popular one with hand machinists, because you get a bunch of these and you put your different tools in it. In this case, this is actually a piece of high-speed steel that has been ground into a piece, drops in, gets locked in place and used. And you have lots of other ones. You have, this is a knurling bar. And what it is used for is if you take your piece and you roll it with this, it will put that rough grip on it like that. This would create that rough texture that is handy for some situations. Another part on the other end, and here we have a boring bar. This would go in, and it would go in over here, and you can lock it in, and then you can take this part up here and move stuff around and adjust it to where you want it. And in this case, what the boring bar would do is, if I wanted to cut on the inside, as I spin this around, this would would go inside and finish out make the inside of this nice and smooth, or to whatever diameter you want it to be. And so that's the boring operation. And this would be on here, and this would be in the 3-jaw chuck. There's a few more things, but I think that's enough to let you see some of the versatility of a manual lathe and the little bits and pieces that weren't part of the original video.